What's up? My name is Jack Murphy, and this is the 31st dividend income report video where I go over what stocks have been paying me dividends, what stocks have been buying and selling, my best and worst performers, and more. So I'm going to go right into my portfolio's performance first. And September wasn't a really good month for me. I had a positive 0.07% return. As of now, I'm filming this on the 29th, but the S&P 500 had about a 1.7% return. The Dow Jones had about a 2% return, and NASDAQ also around 2%, a little more. And this is just because the Fed cut the interest rates by 0.5%, and that does boost the stock market, the S&P 500, more than it did for my portfolio. So I did get outperformed this month, but I'm coming off a couple months in a row where I did beat the S&P 500, so I'm not too upset about not doing it this month. Going over to my three best and worst stocks, the third best was Texas Roadhouse at over a 4% return. The next highest was Lowe's at about a 7.65% return. And Amazon has been the number one performer in my portfolio this month at a positive 8.7% return. Overall, Amazon has just done really well in my portfolio ever since I bought it in August. Going over to my three worst performers, Altria Group had a negative 3.13% return, being my third worst. JP Morgan had a negative 4.1% return, being my second worst. And the biggest loser in my portfolio at over a negative 13% loss this month was Regeneron. I'm not too concerned about this because the reason Regeneron stock fell is because unexpectedly there was a preliminary injunction against another company called Amgen, where they're trying to release another drug similar to Eylea, which is Regeneron's number one drug and drives a lot of their sales. So this did cause some concern, which is what caused the stock price to drop. But it's very risky for Amgen to go through with releasing their drug, because if Regeneron sues them back and wins, it'll be like a huge financial loss for their company. So it's kind of looking like they won't do that. Can't say for sure, but I am taking this as an opportunity to buy more. So in my opinion, this is a good opportunity to get some cheaper Regeneron stock. So those were the best and worst performers and my portfolio performance, but now let's get into the dividend payments themselves. So first off, on Tuesday the 3rd, I got my first dividend payment from Visa, where I got about 60 cents. On the 10th, I got two dividend payments. The first one was from Chevron, where I got about $3.86. And the second one was from Johnson & Johnson, where I got just under $5. My next dividend payment was on the 12th from Microsoft, where I got about 37 cents. And on the 13th, I got two dividend payments, one from Main Street Capital, where I got about $1.72, and the other one from Realty Income, where I got about $3.79, bringing that day's total to about $5.51. Then my next dividend payment was all the way on the 24th from Texas Roadhouse, where I got $1.22. My last dividend payment I've gotten so far was on the 27th from Main Street Capital, where I got $2.11. This was a special dividend payment. And on the 30th, which is Monday, I'm going to get two dividend payments. The first one from Pepsi, I'm going to get about $2.25. And I'm going to get another one from SCHD of around $13. I don't know the exact one right now, but it's going to be in the $13 range. And the month will end at about $35 in dividends. So I'm predicting it'll be $35, give or take $1. Obviously, I did the portfolio recomposition over the summer, so my dividend payments did go down a little bit, but my September quarter, or the September block, is still nice and high at $35. My new average per month is about $21.38. And if I were to not add any money for the next 12 months, I would get about $256 in dividends. Comparing my dividend payments to last September, I'm up about 54%. I got about $19.12. So we are up a good bit. Now let's move on to what stocks I bought this month. So the first one was Regeneron. I bought about $235 worth of Regeneron this month. In the Schwab portfolio, I have about 0.56 shares for about $586, but this is also one of the stocks I have in my Roth IRA. So including the Roth IRA, I got about 1.007 shares of Regeneron. So we got over one share. I do want this to be one of my biggest, or it's going to be my biggest single stock position, probably in both portfolios. But yeah, we got over $1,000 in this stock right now. Down about 3.8%, but just a good opportunity to keep dollar cost averaging and lower my average buying price. The next stock I bought was Chevron. I put about $135 into Chevron this month. Kept it around my average cost per share. Bought some at $139, bought more at $143, bought some at $147. Average cost per share overall is about $146. Have about $581 of Chevron in the portfolio. Getting close to $600. If the stock doesn't jump up in the next month, I'll probably put more money into it and get it to $600. My total profits are around break even. And then the last stock I bought was JP Morgan, and I put about $250 into JP Morgan this month. This wasn't necessarily because of the price, because my average cost per share was around $130 or $135 before, but this was just a stock I haven't put money into for a long time. Interest rates were getting cut, so I figured put some money into a bank stock, put about $250 into JP Morgan, about 1.25 shares. Brought my average cost per share to 160, but that's still well below the price now at about 210. My current value of all my shares is $500. My cost basis was 380, so looking good there. Total profits about 127, which is still over 33%, even after putting in $250 this month. Doing very well. The last thing I want to get to in this video is going over my dividend payments for October. Going over to Snowball's dividend calendar, you can see my first dividend payment in October should be Altria Group, and I'll get about $9.50. Altria Group is just a big position in my portfolio with a high yield, so that's why the dividend payment is so juicy. On the 15th, I got my Main Street Capital and Realty Income payments. I'm going to get about $5 that day. And then on the 31st of October, on Halloween, JP Morgan's going to give me a scary dividend payment of $2.73 roughly. So the month looks like it'll be around $17. That's kind of an average month, so I'm not going to be too upset with that. Pretty short video, nothing too crazy happened this month besides Regeneron dipping 13%. Just going to keep buying some more of that next month. Keep my eye out for more good buying opportunities. Chevron might still be a good buying opportunity. But yeah, nothing too crazy, nothing too different. Just going to try to keep contributing and keeping a lookout for good deals. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already checked out the portfolio recomposition I did 2 months ago, that's a good video. You can also check out my Roth IRA recomposition. That's another cool one. I also talk about Regeneron in that video. But besides that, thanks for watching. Peace.